Your bedroom. The safest place in the world. Your comfort zone. Your castle. But what if one day, your safe haven was infiltrated by some unknown force? Something in which you couldn't see. An invisible attacker. A poltergeist. I would suggest you grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and feel how that would feel with 3 true scary paranormal activities in your bedroom stories. Watch out. The man I saw in my bedroom. A lot of people may not believe in ghosts, spirits, demons, etc. But I do. I have a lot of experience with them, but not only me. A cousin of mine has been there too. We've experienced them together a lot when we were kids. These have happened around the years of 2008 and 2011. Haven't really experienced anything since then, but the one I'm going to be telling you is kinda creepy. It was late one night. I'm not really sure what time it was, but we were laying in bed, me, my cousin Mary, and my sister. Me and Mary had woken from a noise that caught our attention. By the way, this only happened to me and her. We were the youngest. My sister was still asleep next to us. It was hard for us to sleep anyways, considering we were in a twin-sized bed. We looked over at the door, and it happened to be open. We saw a man that was about 6'2", really tall, standing in the doorway. My dad and his girlfriend were asleep, so I knew it couldn't have been them. I couldn't see his face, but he was wearing a black hat, having a long black coat, and black boots. He stood there just tapping his foot, watching us sleep. I'm not really sure who he was. We had never seen this thing ever before. In our hometown, his name is George, as my mama always said, because she saw him too, a couple of times. It really scared me, and I've not seen him since then. I live at the same place it happened, just not in the same house. I've been researching a lot about him, and maybe I can find out a little bit more about George. Thank you for reading. I hope you enjoyed my experience. Mischievous ghost haunting my bedroom. At the moment of writing this, I'm 16 years old and have lived in the same house with my parents my entire life. We live in the house my dad grew up in, a house of at least 70 years old, in the suburbs surrounding Chicago. I know for a fact that my grandfather on my dad's side passed away in our driveway in his car after having a heart attack, but am not aware of any other deaths. I personally have always been drawn to the supernatural occurrences and ghost stories, but have never truly considered any of this to be real. I am agnostic, but definitely lean more towards being an atheist, so I don't blame just any strange events on ghosts or spirits. Despite this, I have been having some strange experiences lately. We're having an addition put onto our house, so I moved into my parents' old bedroom while they get some stuff new across the hall. I've always felt a little uneasy in this bedroom, but figured it was just because it was a dark room. It has dark oak floors and pretty dark walls, which I plan to paint something a little lighter. My parents have told me that when I was a baby, I would sit outside of this room and stare into it, intently, like I was watching something. Other than that, I've never found anything strange about that room. Until now. When I first moved in, all I had was a mattress on the floor. Within the first week of sleeping in here, I woke up with a pretty large cut near the corner of my eye. Weeks later, it has left a pink, depressed scar, so I can only reason that it must have been fairly deep. There was nothing sharp around me. I checked. I had the door closed, so neither of our 2 dogs could have come in. The only explanation I had was a centipede that scared the heck out of me after waking up. But centipedes don't cut you, though, despite my irrational fears of them. When my parents saw, they figured I just scratched myself in my sleep. It was a deep cut, though. My nails aren't too long, and something like that probably would have woken me up. A few weeks later, I had a lucid dream, which I have a lot of, so that's completely normal where I was being held down. I woke up in a panic and heard a little girl singing. It was just a few notes. Then it stopped. I know this was real because I remember how terrified I had become and got up and opened my door all the way. Nothing out of the ordinary happened for a little over a month after that. Now I'm completely settled in my new bedroom. Last Saturday, I was doing homework, but a sudden feeling came over me. It was a very strange feeling. It just felt odd. I got up from what I was doing and just laid in bed for over 20 minutes, staring at the ceiling. This is when my dog started scratching at the door and growling obsessively. My dad let her in and she walked around and stared at nothing. I snapped out of it and she left. My dog hates me since I was her original trainer and used a collar that she didn't like since she couldn't put a leash on it. I was the only one who used it, so now she associates me with being evil. She never comes into my bedroom or acknowledges my existence, so her even coming into my room was a big deal. Lately, she's been coming in several times a day, every day, basically walking around then leaving. It's like she's checking up on something. It's so weird. Apparently, she even does this when I'm not home. I woke up the other day with my phone, which I use as my alarm clock, being moved to another space across the room. It's a new phone, and I found my old phone in its place. It's like they just swapped places. I know for a fact that I had my new phone with me, as my old one is factory reset and selling on eBay. Why does this matter? I'm very worrisome about everything, so make sure every night that I have my phone right next to me, and the alarm is on full volume. Usually a few times just because I want to make sure it's there and I won't wake up late the next day. Also, all of my pictures were deleted. You can only do that with a passcode. It could have been hacked into, but that doesn't explain why it was moved. That same day, I came home to find my TV turned on. The remote control is in my closet, in a drawer. To be honest, I don't think anyone knows where I even keep it. I'm very organized, but I'm sure not many people keep the remotes in their closet. The power button is hidden in a very odd place on the side. You probably wouldn't know where it was if it wasn't yours, but I'm sure someone could have turned it on. I asked around and apparently no one touched it. Maybe it was the construction workers, but why would they turn on my TV and then leave? Its colors were completely inverted, which was creepy. I'm sure that could be explained by some sort of malfunction, but still. Anyways, Lately, I've been feeling more and more uncomfortable in this room. It always feels like there's a pair of eyes watching me. I have a little trouble sleeping at night, and when I do sleep, I either don't have any dreams or they're terrifying nightmares. This comes from someone who dreams vividly every night and can't remember what it was that I dreamt months later. I have a few theories. Either I'm very stressed out and a little crazy, or something is haunting me. Or a dresser that I bought from a thrift store is possessed. It's probably not the dresser though, I just got that last week and I've been having problems much longer than that. I'd really like to know what you think and we'll keep you updated if anything else happens. I honestly have no idea if there is something here. Would there be any way to get rid of it with like sage or something? Please let me know what your opinions on my situation is. Figures in the bedroom. This may not be the longest story on here, but this is my experience with what could have been a ghost or spirit. So here it goes. Okay, so when I was a little girl, maybe around the age of 5 or 6, I used to still sleep in the bed with my dad because I was scared to sleep in my original bedroom right next to his. One night, I woke up around 2 or 3 in the morning because my dad snored terribly and it always woke me up. I turned over to try and shake him so he would stop. This was our usual routine, and on his side of the bed, I could describe perfectly a transparent old woman with a bun on top of her head with an older apron-type dress, and I could still faintly make out the wrinkles on her face. She was literally a kilometer away from my dad, just looking at me. The first time I rolled over hoping the old woman would disappear, and to my surprise when I looked again, she was still there. I was so scared and my dad wouldn't wake up for nothing. Eventually, I rolled over and just fell back asleep. When I became a young teenager, maybe 13 to 14 years old, I told my dad about what had happened years back, and he has specifically told me that I described his great-great-grandmother to a T. He had also said that the land we lived on and our houses was very old, and there was an abandoned, torn-down shack in the woods right next to the house that no one had any information on. I am now 18 years old, and ever since that night, I've never seen the old woman or any other paranormal activities again. My father thinks the old woman or his great-great-grandmother never returned because she knew that she really scared me and that she was just trying to meet me in a way by watching over me and my dad.